Imagine this. You're living in the late 1800s, and a brutal murder rocks your small town.
Hmm.
The sheriff, desperate for clues,
Mm-hmm.
turns to the latest in forensic science,
Okay.
photographing the victim's eyes to capture the killer's image.
Wow.
Sounds like something out of a Penny Dreadful, right?
Yeah, it does.
But this was a real theory.
Wow.
And today, we're going to deep dive into two chilling cases from that era,
Okay.
where truth is truly stranger than fiction.
It's fascinating how these cases highlight the intersection of folklore, emerging science, and the very human need to make sense of the unthinkable.
Our first stop takes us to a seemingly peaceful farm in Michigan, 1883.
Okay.
The Crouch family, prosperous, respected, are found brutally murdered in their home.
Oh, wow.
But who could have committed such a heinous act and why?
The Crouch case is a puzzle with so many intriguing pieces. A family divided by inheritance, whispers of dark secrets, and a string of suspicious deaths that cast a long shadow over the investigation.
Right, and like any good mystery, we have a cast of characters who could have played a role. Was it a disgruntled farmhand seeking revenge? Or perhaps a relative with a score to settle and a lot to gain?
What's particularly striking is how the lack of sophisticated forensic techniques at the time allowed rumors and speculation to flourish, further obscuring the truth.
Okay, so let's set the scene.
All right.
It's a cold November night, a storm raging outside.
Yeah.
Inside the Crouch farmhouse, 74-year-old Jacob the patriarch is settling in for the night.
Okay.
His daughter Eunice, 8 months pregnant, and her husband Henry are there,
Uh-huh.
along with a guest, Moses Pauley, a cattle buyer.
It's important to remember the social context here.
Yes.
This was a time of rapid change with anxieties about wealth and status simmering beneath the surface. Jacob Crouch, with his vast land holdings, represented both success and vulnerability in this evolving world.
Exactly. And then there are the two servants,
Right.
George, a young farmhand,
Uh-huh.
and Julia, the housekeeper.
Okay.
They become key witnesses, but their accounts are riddled with inconsistencies, raising suspicions and adding another layer of intrigue to the case.
The presence of servants, particularly in a case involving wealthy victims, often introduced a dynamic of power and mistrust.
Yes.
Their words could be easily dismissed or twisted, their actions scrutinized for any hint of wrongdoing.
In the dead of night, gunshots echo through the farmhouse, shattering the stillness.
Wow.
Young George, terrified, hides under the covers, hearing the muffled sounds of violence, a struggle furniture being moved. The storm rages on, almost as if mirroring the chaos unfolding within those walls.
The crime scene, already compromised by the storm, becomes further contaminated by curious onlookers, making it virtually impossible to gather reliable evidence.
It's like something out of an Agatha Christie novel,
Oh!
but with a grim reality that's far more chilling.
Yeah.
By morning, the gruesome discovery is made. Jacob, Eunice, Henry, and Polly all shot dead.
Wow.
The only survivors, George and Julia, their story shrouded in fear and uncertainty.
The sheriff, faced with a scene of carnage and a lack of physical evidence, grasps at any possible lead. And this is where that intriguing, albeit far-fetched theory of optograms comes in.
The idea that the killer's image could be imprinted on the victim's retina, like some macabre photograph,
Uh-huh.
captured the public imagination, but as we know now, was more fiction than science.
Yet it speaks to the desperation of the time, the desire for concrete answers in a world where justice often relied on conjecture and circumstance.
With the investigation stalled, suspicion falls on the surviving servants. Could they have been involved, or were they simply caught in the crossfire of a deadly family feud?
It's crucial to examine their testimonies, not just for what they reveal, but for
Right.
what they might conceal.
Yes.
Was George truly hiding in a trunk, as he claimed? Or was he trying to distance himself from the crime?
Right.
What about Julia's insistence that she heard nothing?
Right.
Was it genuine or a carefully crafted lie?
And then, like a twist in a Gothic novel, the case takes an even darker turn.
Oh.
Jacob's other daughter, Susan, dies suddenly, just a few months after the murders. Was it natural causes, as claimed, or was she silenced to protect a dark secret?
The timing of her death certainly raises eyebrows.
Yes.
And then there's the mysterious death of her farmhand, James Foy, who allegedly shot himself after drunkenly confessing to knowing something about the Crouch murders.
Each death deepens the mystery, casting a wider net of suspicion.
Yeah.
Could the motive lie within the family itself, fueled by greed and a bitter rivalry over the inheritance?
Yes. The age-old motive, money, and the lengths people will go to secure their fortune.
Right.
Rumors swirl about Jacob's will, potentially leaving everything to Eunice and cutting out his other children. This sets the stage for a power struggle with deadly consequences.
At the center of this web of suspicion is Susan's son, Judd,
Okay.
who was raised by her after his mother's death, estranged from his father and harboring resentment. Could he have been driven to violence?
Judd's story is a tragic one.
Yeah.
The sense of abandonment, the yearning for recognition could certainly fuel a desire for revenge.
Adding fuel to the fire, a self-proclaimed detective, Galen Brown, gets shot while investigating the Crouch farm,
Oh.
claiming Judd was the culprit.
Wow.
It's like a scene ripped from a dime novel full of intrigue and danger.
This incident, while dramatic, only adds to the confusion.
Right.
Was Brown a legitimate investigator or simply seeking notoriety?
Yeah.
And was Judd truly involved or was he being framed?
With so many unanswered questions, the investigation seems to be hitting a dead end.
Yeah.
But then a break in the case footprints found near the crime scene are linked to Judd and his father, Daniel.
Okay.
Could this be the evidence needed to finally solve the Crouch family murders?
The discovery of those footprints near the Crouch farmhouse seems like a promising lead.
Yeah.
But will it be enough to unravel this tangled web of suspicion
Right.
and bring the perpetrators to justice?
Well, the investigation takes another dramatic turn.
Okay.
Judd and Daniel are arrested and put on trial,
Mhm.
but the evidence against them is purely circumstantial.
Right.
Those footprints, the rumors about the will,
Uh-huh.
and Foy's alleged drunken confession. It's a case built on whispers and speculation,
Yeah.
lacking that crucial piece of concrete proof.
In a courtroom drama worthy of its own penny, dreadful,
Oh, wow.
Daniel is acquitted, and the charges against Judd are ultimately dropped. The Crouch family murders remain officially unsolved to this day.
So after all the twists and turns, we're left with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Did Judd and Daniel play a role in the killings? Or were they simply victims of circumstance caught in the crosshairs of a flawed investigation? What truly happened in that farmhouse on that stormy November night?
Right.
Perhaps the answers are lost to history, buried beneath layers of speculation and the passage of time.
It's a reminder that even in the pursuit of justice, the truth can sometimes remain elusive,
Yes.
leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and lingering doubts.
And speaking of legacies, our next case takes us from the rural landscapes of Michigan to a bustling New Hampshire town,
Okay.
where another unsolved mystery unfolds. But this one involves a secret so gruesome, it's hidden within a trunk.
Wow.
Remember that fascination with optograms we discussed earlier?
Yes.
Well, in this case, the contents of that trunk paint a far more vivid and horrifying picture than any photograph ever could.
This next story takes us deep into the heart of human darkness, exploring the motivations and consequences of actions driven by passion, desperation, and a chilling disregard for human life.
We're going to meet Jane Ford, a woman who, after 2 widowings, finds herself in a 3rd marriage.
Uh-huh.
But this time, things are far from blissful.
It's important to understand the social constraints of the era.
Yes.
Divorce carried a heavy stigma,
Right.
and affairs were scandalous. This societal pressure likely played a role in the escalating tensions between Jane and her lover, a troubled Irishman named Thomas Summon.
This Thomas is struggling with his own demons. Alcoholism, depression, the breakdown of his own marriage.
Yeah.
He and Jane find solace in each other.
Right.
Their relationship, a dangerous cocktail of forbidden desires and self-destructive tendencies.
What's fascinating here is how their affair becomes a catalyst for violence, a toxic mix of passion, resentment, and the blurring effects of alcohol.
And it all explodes in a horrifying act of brutality.
Boom.
It's November 1883. A drunken argument spirals out of control.
Wow.
In a fit of rage, Thomas throws Jane to the ground and literally stomps on her chest until she's dead. It's a crime of passion fueled by alcohol,
Oh, wow.
and a terrifying glimpse into the raw, primal nature of violence.
It's a stark reminder of how quickly emotions can escalate,
Right.
how easily words can turn into actions with devastating, irreversible consequences.
Yes.
And in Thomas's case, this single act of violence sets in motion a chain of events that will leave a trail of devastation in its wake.
Now, Thomas is facing a horrifying reality.
Right.
He's killed his landlord's wife in his own rental house.
Wow.
Panic sets in, and he decides to hide the body in a trunk.
Okay.
But there's a chilling problem. The body won't fit.
Here we see the depths of his desperation, the blurring of moral boundaries.
Yeah.
He makes a horrific choice.
He grabs an axe, and in a gruesome act of depravity, he dismembers Jane's body to make it fit. It's a detail so disturbing.
Wow.
It sends shivers down your spine, a testament to the lengths he'll go to conceal his crime.
This act represents a point of no return, A descent into a darkness from which there is no easy escape.
Right.
He has crossed a line, and the consequences will be terrifyingly far-reaching.
So he loads the trunk onto a wheelbarrow and sets off for his friend's house a mile down the road. These friends, the Ruddys, are kind, welcoming people who have no idea what horror this man is about to bring into their home. It's a cruel twist of fate, their compassion becoming their undoing.
The irony is heartbreaking.
Yes.
They offer Thomas shelter, unaware that he's not seeking refuge,
Right.
but a hiding place for his gruesome secret.
He leaves a trunk outside and tells the Ruddys he needs a place to stay. They invite him in for dinner,
Wow.
make him feel welcome, completely oblivious to the darkness he carries within him.
Oh.
But Thomas is consumed by paranoia. He's convinced he's going to be caught, and this fear fuels a growing sense of desperation.
It's a descent into madness fueled by guilt, fear, and the weight of his horrific actions. He's trapped in a spiral of his own making, and the only way out in his mind is through more violence.
Around 4 a.m., he can't take it anymore.
Oh,
He goes into the kitchen and grabs a hatchet. His friend James, concerned by the commotion, follows him. Rosa James's wife hears the noise and comes in to find a scene of unimaginable horror.
Oh.
Her husband slumped in a chair, his head nearly severed by the hatchet.
It's a scene of such brutality, such a violation of trust and hospitality that it leaves you reeling.
Yes.
And tragically, this is just the beginning of the nightmare that's about to unfold.
Rosa rushes to her husband's side,
Oh.
and that's when Thomas attacks her with the hatchet.
Oh my God.
It's a frenzied assault fueled by panic and a chilling determination to silence any witnesses.
The violence escalates from a single act of passion to a calculated, almost methodical rampage. He's no longer simply trying to conceal a crime, he's eliminating anyone who could expose him.
Their 13-month-old baby, Frank, awakened by the screams, starts to cry.
Oh.
This draws Thomas's attention, and he goes into the baby's room.
Oh no.
And in one swift, merciless blow, silences the cries forever.
It's a detail that chills you to the bone, a stark reminder of the indiscriminate nature of evil. There's no reasoning, no compassion, only a cold-blooded brutality that defies comprehension.
Meanwhile, Rosa, despite being struck multiple times with the hatchet, fights for her life.
Wow.
She's covered in wounds, blood streaming down her face, but she refuses to give up.
It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the primal instinct to survive, even in the face of unimaginable terror.
She tries to crawl out the back door, but Thomas catches her and attacks again.
Oh my gosh.
Realizing she can't overpower him, she pretends to be dead, hoping to buy herself some time.
And in a moment of chilling clarity, she sees her chance. While Thomas is preoccupied with trying to set fire to the house, she makes a desperate dash for freedom.
It's a scene ripped from a horror film. A blood-soaked woman, her body racked with pain, throws herself through the front window.
Wow.
Shattering the glass and landing on the ground outside, she screams for help as flames engulf the house behind her, a beacon of desperation in the darkness.
It's a miracle she survived.
Yes.
Her escape is a testament to her courage, her will to live, and her testimony will prove crucial in piecing together the events of that horrific night and ultimately bringing Thomas Salmon to justice.
It's hard to fathom the sheer terror Rosa must have endured, the strength it took to escape that burning house with her life.
Right.
But her nightmare wasn't over yet. She had to relive those horrifying moments.
Whoa.
Recounting the brutal attack, the loss of her husband and child, all while battling her own physical and emotional wounds.
Her testimony is a testament to her courage and resilience. It paints a chilling picture of Thomas Salmon's descent into madness.
Right.
His transformation from a troubled soul seeking solace to a cold-blooded killer driven by fear and desperation.
While neighbors frantically tend to Rosa's injuries, Thomas flees into the night. But his attempt to escape justice is short-lived. The police, alerted by Rosa's harrowing account and the discovery of Jane's dismembered body in that abandoned trunk, launch a manhunt.
The discovery of Jane's body concealed in such a gruesome manner sends shockwaves through the community.
Right.
It confirms the darkest fears, revealing the true extent of Thomas Salmon's depravity.
And just when you think this story can't get any more twisted, they find Thomas trying to make his way back to his estranged wife, Johanna.
It's a perplexing detail, isn't it? After unleashing such horrific violence, he seeks solace in the arms of the woman he betrayed, the woman who represents a life he shattered.
It's a testament to the complex, often contradictory nature of human behavior. Perhaps it was remorse, a longing for connection in the face of his impending doom.
Right.
Or maybe he was just another desperate attempt to escape the consequences of his actions.
Whatever his motivations, his capture brings a sense of relief to the community, a hope that justice will prevail.
Under interrogation, Thomas confesses to all 3 murders. He recounts the affair, the drunken rage that led him to kill Jane, the desperate attempts to conceal his crime, and the chilling escalation of violence that claimed the lives of James and little Frank.
His confession offers a glimpse into the dark recesses of his mind,
Yes.
revealing a man consumed by guilt paranoia and the weight of his own horrific actions.
The case goes to trial, and a psych evaluation declares Thomas sane and fit to stand trial faced with overwhelming evidence.
Right.
And Rosa Ruddy's powerful testimony, he pleads guilty and is sentenced to death by hanging.
It's a harsh sentence reflecting the societal outrage at his crimes,
Yeah.
the need for retribution and perhaps a sense of closure for a community terrorized by his actions.
But the story doesn't end there. On the day of his sentencing, his ex-wife Johanna is present in the courtroom. As the judge delivers the verdict, she breaks down weeping openly and embraces Thomas.
It's a poignant moment, a stark contrast to the brutality of his crimes. It speaks to the enduring power of love, the capacity for forgiveness, even in the face of unimaginable horror.
It's a reminder that even the darkest stories have shades of gray,
Yeah.
that the line between good and evil can sometimes be blurry, and that even in the face of monstrous acts, there can be glimmers of humanity, of compassion.
And as we reflect on these 2 chilling cases, we're left with a profound sense of the fragility of life, the unpredictable nature of human behavior, and the enduring need for justice, for understanding.
Both the Crouch and Salmon cases offer a glimpse into a bygone era.
Right.
But the themes they explore, greed, jealousy, the destructive power of secrets, are timeless, resonating with us even today.
They remind us that the past is not just a collection of stories, but a mirror reflecting the complexities of the human experience.
So as we conclude our deep dive into these dark chapters of history,
Yeah.
we're left with a sense of awe at the resilience of those who survived, the dedication of those who sought justice, and the enduring power of the human spirit to persevere, even in the face of unimaginable darkness. We encourage you to continue exploring these cases, to delve deeper into the historical context, the legal proceedings, and the personal stories of those involved.
Yes.
And as always, thank you for joining us on this journey into the past.